What's going on, guys? Joe's Reviews here, and today I am bringing you a video on the Piranha Mouse Mods G303. This is a custom 3D printed wireless mouse. I'm sure that you've heard of it before, but if you haven't, it's a guy from Germany who custom 3D prints these mouse shells, and you can either buy it pre-made by him or you can buy the kit. And since I had a G305, I bought the kit because it does use the G305 internals. Now, I kind of just wanted to give you my preliminary thoughts on the mouse and basically my review of the process of putting it together, if you will, because there were some issues with putting the mouse together. So overall, I would say, speaking about the quality of the structure, I mean there really isn't much flex, and obviously you can hear that, if you can hear that, as I squeeze the bottom, the main buttons do actuate, but I mean that's not really an issue. What I did notice is that these side buttons, if you can see that there, that front one is very recessed, so it's kind of annoying to press, so it's probably beneficial if you put some sort of like lizard skin on that or something. The back one is fine, pretty snappy click. There is a bit of post travel. You can see here that the side button PCB actually moves as you actuate that, and that is just because it's a 3D printed mod, so the structure of the side button mount is not, the most structurally sound thing. And then the front side button is snappy, but it's a little bit harder to press. The clicks overall, this has the click tensioning system, and as you can see here, it actuates right there. Very little pre-travel. Obviously there is like a ton of post-travel if you really press it down, but you're not required to press it down that hard. Overall, I would say the quality of the 3D printed structure is very good. Like, there's very little flex. Of course I could break this if I wanted to, but I'm not gonna press it hard enough to break it. Now, the one thing I will say about the 3D print is I think he put some sort of paint coating on here or something, and the sides kind of feel like, you know how like a peach has like peach fuzz on it? That's kind of what this feels like. It kind of feels like peach fuzz on the sides, and basically the entire mouse kind of feels like a little peach fuzzy. But overall, the mouse is great. I mean, there's no issues with tracking or anything. It uses the G305 internals, so you have to use the Logitech software, which is, kind of a mixed review, I guess, but it uses all the parts from the G305, and obviously you can see the scroll wheel is a little bit crooked here, but I think that's just the way that the encoder is being held in the mouse. It's not completely flush. And then, of course, you do charge it through this port here. And now I kind of wanted to give you my thoughts on how you put the mouse together. So for that, I'm going to transition to the instructions. So as you can see here, he has instructions on his website. Honestly, like, the way that you put it together is very, very simple until you get to the battery. Putting the battery in with this little zip tie took me so long, and it was extremely frustrating to get the zip tie to curl enough. And not even the zip tie part, but inserting these springs into the battery holder was actually the worst part. It took me probably an hour to get the plus spring to stay in after you put the minus and the battery in, because there's no, like, it doesn't hold them, right? So you're just putting them in and hoping that they stay. There is nothing in the mouse that actually holds these in place. So that is something that I hope in later iterations maybe he fixes, maybe make it so that, like, when you can slide these in and they stay in place instead of just having to hold them by pressure. If we look at the G303, the bottom is actually smaller than the top of the mouse, right? So when you put this in, you had to, like, obviously because the side buttons are further out than the bottom, right? So if you look at the profile, the side buttons stick further out than the base. So you have to put it in kind of like sideways. but then there's these two clips at the front that have to go under the PCB. So you have to like put it in on a diagonal, get the clips to slide under the PCB, and then you can screw it in. And what I found with, I think the G303 in specific, is it's extremely hard to get that to happen. I mean, he even says it in the instructions that you may need to bend the, like, if you can read here, it says once you successfully paired both shells, a little bit of bending might be required. So I don't know if it was just me, but the way that I had to bend this to get it in, actually one of the clips at the front here under this foot, it broke off, which, I mean, that could be my fault, but I think it's just the way that the G303 is in specific. The way you have to get that, the bottom and the top to pair, is just an extremely painstaking process. But other than that, I mean, the mouse itself is a good quality. It's very light. It was actually kind of fun putting it together until I got to the pairing, the base and the top. But other than that, the mouse is fun to use. You know, the clicks are snappy, and overall the texture of the mouse is good. And these are Hottie S feet that I put on here because I didn't have any dots. And then it does have that click tensioning here that you can adjust, which is kind of nice. But overall, I would say that if you want like your favorite mouse shape and there is no wireless version of your favorite mouse shape, this might be a good way to go. But specifically with the G303, I would say you might be better off just buying the pre-built one by Piranha, because it was an extremely painstaking process putting this together. That's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this helped you make a more informed decision on whether or not you want to buy one of these kits. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.